Hi guys, welcome to my little flip lesson. Today we're going to be continuing from the previous lesson, and I've titled this lesson Harmonic Relationships. Now I just want to make a big sound here. Oh, sorry, some sounds there. It might be a relationship, but the overall unit we're studying, just to remind you, is called Your Music Matters, and we're exploring themes around inequalities and disadvantage. And what I'm wanting you to do is come up with a couple of chords and think about how they relate to each other, how they sound with respect to each other. So you might be asking, what's a chord? I've got the answer right there. It's simply a group of notes, more than one. And it can be multiple. In this instance, I'm looking for you to come up with 3-note chords, 2 of them, and what I'm going to be encouraging you to do is explore the sounds of these notes together. How do those notes sound together? And some of the words that we use when we're discussing about how sounds go together: dissonance, things sort of don't sound quite right, or kind of irritating maybe. Consonants, where they kind of align and sound good. And different types of sounds, they can convey different types of emotions and feelings, and everyone sort of has their own personal responses to music. But what we're obviously thinking about is situations of inequality and disadvantage. So the chords that I'm wanting you to explore and find are sounds that will generate these kinds of feelings and emotions from those notes. So what I want you to do is think about what it is that you are going to try and bring out in those sounds. So it might be things of sadness or concern or anger, empathy, some kind of emotions that you're trying to pull out from these chords. You might just say, it's only a chord. Dave, it's only a chord. But it's your chord, right? It's yours. Actually, I want you to find 2 chords, and I want you to experiment. So I know some of you might be going, oh, but I only play a single note instrument. So in our last unit, we've recorded an instrument into GarageBand. Look back on the videos if you've forgotten how to do that. So if you only play a 1-note instrument, record that into GarageBand. We're going to show this how to do this in just a moment, and you'll be able to create chords using that sound. Or if you prefer, you could use a piano or a guitar, something that can make more than 1 note at once. But what's going to be important when we're doing this little exercise is to write down what you're doing, and we're going to record them. So we've kind of documented our idea. So without further ado, I'm just going to switch over to GarageBand, and we are going to try and make some music. Encourage it. So as you can see, I've been quite a few iterations. I'm up to my song 14. You just load into GarageBand and load up a song, but I'm just going to start with this one here. And down here is we're presented with a keyboard, and this is a clarinet sound I recorded on my last demo. So what I'm wanting you to do is simply just find 2 sets of notes that go together. So I just started playing around and have a listen to how the notes sound together. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is just really play around with these notes. When you find something that you like that's conveying the emotion of our topic, inequality and disadvantage, I want you to settle on them and write them down. And so we're going to come up with two notes. So what my chords I came up with, chord 1 was these 3 notes, E, F sharp and A, and my second chord was D, F sharp and B. So I'll play them for you now. So those 3 notes, so I've chosen them because there's a little bit of dissonance in here, and I wanted to convey some dissonance in this piece. And then my second chord, I went down to these notes. So play around to find a combination of 2 chords, and then if you are at a stage where you can write down the rhythm of these 2 chords, you could note down the rhythm. So what I did is started just making a few notes. I'll just show you. I've written the notes down. I've notated the rhythm. If you can't notate rhythm yet, that's okay. We're going to be doing lessons on that down the track. But just if you are able to, write down the rhythm you'd like to present them in to the class, and also record them into GarageBand. So in the app here right now, I've got a record button up here. I've got my notes. I can hit the rewind. What's going to happen when I start the recording? It's going to start recording at a certain speed. So you might just want to start that. And if it's too fast, too slow, or whatever, just the tempo, you can hit the settings button up here. You can come in and change the tempo. You can set that up and down. And that's the setting of 95 is fine for me. Don't really need to take a lot of notice of anything else. At this point, I just want to record those 2. So I'm going to hit the start, and I'm going to try and record these. Now you see, practice might perfect here. So I'm not the best iPad player, but I have now written these notes down and recorded them. And what I want you to do when you're exploring the way the notes of the chord go together is to listen and be aware. Just really listen to the sounds that are coming out. How the sounds work together, and then how the one chord relates to the next chord, just like how it makes you feel, and is it ask yourself the questions: is it going to convey the underlying feeling of perhaps a song that was built on top of that? But some suggestions: play them to a friend, see what the friend says. How did it make them feel? Very importantly, be proud of them. They're your chords, and we're going to discuss them further in class, and delve into how that small idea could be built into a larger piece. Any other questions? You could post them to the forum. At this point, I could play that recording back by hitting the play button up here. If I wasn't happy with that, you could delete that and start again. Practice and refinement, and just make sure you've made a choice. Don't be afraid to choose some dissonant notes. We're going to go in class. We're going to look at examining how those notes relate to each other, the relationships between them, how we can name them, and understand the relationships between those notes a little bit deeper. So what I want to say, guys, is don't worry. There's only 12 notes. So have a good play with the technology, find out anything you can or can't do, and we'll be discussing it further in class. I look forward to seeing you.